I think I'm live. What's going on? All right. Okay. It seized up for about 10 seconds. All right. That was ridiculous. Okay. Hello everybody. I'm Carrie. This is my channel. Thank you for joining me. For those who are new, I said my name is Carrie. I am a fantasy author, a mom, and a sometimes vlogger. And this is my channel. I do an occasional vlog, and I've been trying to do a new series where I bring on another creator to have a conversation, and sometimes we have creative time depending on what's going on and who I'm talking with. So in a few minutes, I will have my guest, the lovely Sarah Werner, will be joining us this evening. She is a writer and a podcaster and a public speaker. She's got 2 podcasts, both of which are fantastic. And I think you're picking up her sound now. Let me see. How do I? Okay. That's fixed. I think I could hear her. It was picking up on her end. And she's watching. Hi, Sarah. So yeah, Sarah is going to be joining me in about 3 minutes. She's introducing her end of the live stream because she usually live streams on Fridays on Facebook and Twitch. So we are trying to combine all of those things. And then she's going to be checking me on in a minute. Hold on, let me send her a message. Okay. What was I saying? Well, when Sarah gets on here, I will let her tell you all of the things. And I'm going to real quick show you what I'm working on. I am redoing my outline for book 3. I finished my expansion of book 2 last week. Super proud. Then I read through my outline for book 3 and I hated everything. So I'm redoing it. And I'm actually taking a page from Sarah's outlining method and putting a whole bunch of plot points on index cards and then rearranging them. And so we'll see how that works out. So I'm like bouncing in between here. I'm just waiting for her to jump in on the backstage so I can add her on. I'm just waiting for her to It's going to take a minute. I've never done a combined StreamYard thing before, so we'll see how actually this works out. And so yeah, just sit tight and be patient. And for those of you watching in the future, just skip to wherever you see two people. This is like a learning experience for the both of us. So I apologize for the dead time. Here we go. Sarah, you're muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Okay, there we go. Never mind.
Okay.
Because I muted your tab. Wait. I don't know what's going on.
I'm going to mute your tab.
Okay. Hold on.
Okay. So let's see. You should be coming through loud and clear.
No.
Okay, can everybody... Okay, Carrie, I can't hear you on my end. Mic settings. We'll get this figured out. Let's see. So maybe I'll unmute. Maybe I'll mute this tab and unmute this one. Okay, one moment. Oh, I muted the whole site. That's why. Oh, I can't just mute a tab. I have to mute the site. Okay, fine. That's great. Doesn't make any sense, but there we have it. All right. Okay. You can hear us both. Beautiful. Beautiful, and I love it.
Wait, I'm still getting a weird...
I'm going to eat some of my secret yogurt.
Okay, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
But I can't hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
All right, we've got folks saying hello, Carrie. Hello, Carrie. Hi, Carrie. We've got some love coming out to you here in the comments. Let's see. You know what? It might. Let's see. It might just be. Do you have a pair of headphones that you can wear?
No.
Okay, then that is fine. And I think as long as everybody can hear both of us, are we okay?
Yeah, there's just the occasional slight echo.
Okay.
On my end, but I think we can deal with it.
Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. Well, hi. Thank you for doing this. This is something exciting and new, as I was just sharing with my own chat on my side of things. We're crossing the streams, Ghostbusters style, and I'm really excited about this. So, Carrie, I'm going to let you run the show, and yeah, this will be fantastic. Oh, and some of you, if you want to watch over on YouTube, which I think has transcription, let me share the link for that with you. So this is over on Carrie's channel, and let me get the link, and I'll pop that into Discord, and then I'll put it up here on my side of things so that you can see it. All right, all right, all right. There we go. And I will put this up on our comments here. All right, there we go. There is our YouTube link if you want to use that. And yes, while we talk, we are going to be interspersing sprints here, writing sprints. And so if you want to get your writing stuff ready, also, if you just want to write this entire time, you can totally do that. You can mute us, you can listen later. There will be this replay over on Carrie's YouTube channel, which is here on my side in the comments. So yes, I'm ready and excited to begin if you are.
Augie's over here on YouTube. Okay, I already introduced myself on my end, so I will introduce myself for Sarah's viewers. I'm Carrie. I am a fantasy writer and a mom and a sometimes vlogger. And Sarah and I actually went to like elementary through junior high school together.
I know, I said high school earlier and I was wrong because you went to a different high school.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did. Yeah. But I still, actually, I think I can count on one hand the amount of people I still talk to from that school district. But what I've been doing on my channel, I started this in January, was I wanted to periodically have other creators on to talk with them. My very first one in January was a pair of podcasters. Brie and Fry, they do a podcast called Pontifex where they rank all of the popes. And I'm a big history nerd, so that was just like and so I wanted to have Sarah on here to talk about her podcasts, both of them. I just finished Girl in Space season 1, and Sarah, that ending. I was driving around and going, Sarah, you're gonna kill me, Sarah.
I'm trying not to kill anybody, really.
I have a thing about cliffhanger endings, so that's just
in that I love them and I can't not do them. I'm getting people in the chat on my side saying, no murdering, no murdering. So, yep. So yeah, I'm not allowed to murder people through my fiction. It's allowed.
I haven't killed anyone yet in mine, so
See, this is good. This is good.
So I have a couple questions about both podcasts, and in between we'll do like a 20-minute writing sprint. Is that okay?
I am so stoked about
so
this.
We'll
Yes.
start with we'll start with the Right Now podcast. That's the one you've been doing longer. What was your idea behind starting Right Now?
Yeah, so I originally started Right Now as a blog, and I didn't really know a whole lot about podcasting, but I did know that I wanted to write about writing. I wanted to talk about writing. I wanted to sort of record my thoughts and my story about writing, and also see if I could help other people while I was at it. Let's see. I want to get rid of this comment. There we go. Sorry about that. So I started a writing blog, and it did not do well because there were thousands and millions, and probably, I don't know if we're up to 1 billion yet. There might be 1 billion blogs. There's a lot of blogs is what I'm saying. And essentially, I was getting like 2 readers on my blog, and I was like, this is not having the impact that I want it to have. And it was like very frustrating. And my good friend Peter said, hey, have you thought about podcasting? And I was like, no, I've never thought about podcasting because I didn't really know that it existed until now. So this was back in 2015. There weren't a lot of podcasts. There weren't a lot of podcasters. There weren't a lot of women podcasters, and there were not a lot of podcasts about writing. So I was like, well, you know what? Maybe I'll give this a shot. I'll turn my blog into a podcast and just see how it does. And it wasn't like overnight, like millions of downloads and like Oprah gave me a call. Like it wasn't like that. I still it's still very, it's very small scale. It's very intimate. But it's doing well. It's reaching people. I get people reaching out to me saying like, hey, you helped me, finish my book. You helped me break through this barrier. You helped me write my very first poem. And that's just amazing and fulfilling. So the Right Now podcast has been going on since 2015. It's over 5 years old, which is crazy. It bills itself as a weekly podcast, which it has not always been. I went through a period of time when it was not every week, and that's okay. But yeah, now we're back to every week, and we talk about things like writer's block. We talk about imposter syndrome. I just recorded an episode about writer's guilt, which is something we've talked about during these live streams and something that I wanted to talk about. So yeah, so that's a little bit about the Right Now podcast. Oh, and if you're looking it up, it's Right Now, like WRITE, because puns.
Yeah, I just caught up. I was listening
thank you.
Yesterday to the most recent one about being productive enough. And I'm like, oh, I'm feeling it because I'm juggling mom life. And so, when I have a day where my little one won't nap and I know she's clearly exhausted. I can see bags under her eyes. She gets tired. She gets sick like me. You could see it on her face. So then I have to take that 2-3 hour period of time, bundle her into the car, and go for a drive. There goes my writing time. And so I was feeling it, and that episode came out with very good timing.
Well, thank you. And I still don't know how moms do it. I know we have a lot of moms watching right now. You're magical, and I don't know how you do this. So you're amazing. You're absolutely amazing. You don't get enough credit. Caffeine and sugar.
Yes.
I love it.
Part of you also had, I guess, kind of a spin-off was your coffee break series that you did. that's mixed in the stream. Is it still going?
So it's not. I did the Coffee Break spinoff, which is interviews with other writers. I did that for a couple years. And the reason I did it was because I started having authors reaching out to me. And I have this problem where I can't say no to anyone, especially if they seem like really cool people. And so I was like, oh, sure, you could be on my show. I'll just start a spinoff. No big deal. So I started a spinoff of the Right Now podcast. And there's some of those, I've left some of those episodes up on the mainstream. Most of them are on my Patreon. So if you're a patron of the Right Now podcast, you can listen to all of those. I've left a few of my favorites up on the RSS feed for Right Now. I have an interview with Alan Alda where I hang up on him accidentally, and then his gardener starts doing the leaf blower in the background, and we both get really frustrated. So that was fun. But I stopped doing it because the interviews weren't really where my heart was. I wanted to monologue like a supervillain. And so that's really what I've been doing since then. So I stopped doing those, I don't know, with no real plans to start. Although interviewing, it was good to like build up that skill set. Like I learned a lot by interviewing. So yeah. I don't know. It was a good experience, but just kind of done.
Yeah. Let me see if I could pull it up. I'm looking at some of the people. And a pen.
I love
was
her.
One that stood out to me. Like, how did you get Joanna Penn?
Well, she had me on her show, I think, The Creative Pen. Yeah, she was fantastic. Go back and listen to that episode if you haven't listened to it yet. She was one of my heroes.
But there's like 10 years of content. There's like 10 years of content on that show at least, and I download it and then I get intimidated. Like I can't listen to it.
Yeah, there's too many podcasts to possibly keep up with.
Oh yeah, it's not. I know. I listen to so many, and I can't keep up with them all. Yeah, Joanna Penn. You had Grant Faulkner.
Oh yeah, who started NaNoWriMo.
Mm-hmm. And those were the two that I knew.
Yeah, I also have an unreleased one that I did with a well-known paranormal romance author whose name I don't remember off the top of my head because I'm a bad person. But I feel like, one day I will release that and it will be lovely and amazing.
Okay. Let me pull up. I tried searching for a timer with an alpenhorn, but I couldn't find one. You can see in my search.
Yeah, their alpenhorns are surprisingly less popular than you would think. I mean, they're so awesome, and yet they're just not a lot of alpenhorns out there.
That was a weird echo. Okay. Let's just pick this one. So normally if you're on Sarah's, she just does a consistent hour. But I tend to do mine in shorter time spurts. So we'll do 20 minutes and then we'll come back and chat a little more. The way I have things planned, it should work out to still equal an hour. We get 3 sprints in over the course of the night. So
sounds great.
You still get your
hair for it.
So I'll start the timer. We'll mute ourselves, and then Probably won't be an Alpenhorn. I tried.
That's okay. It's fine.
Everyone on Sarah's end will have to do without tonight, but that's okay. All right. We're going to start 20 minutes. Make sure you
All
have
right.
water and everything you need. And we're going to go in 3, 2, 1. Work. Maybe. Okay. Hey, time's up. Oh, Augie, I was just listening to a bunch of stuff I had on a playlist. I had some Spice Girls. I had obsessed with called Six. It's about the wives of Henry VIII. um, so yeah, I don't usually write with lyric music, but I think you're still muted on my end, Sarah.
We're getting some love for Six here in the comments.
You're still muted on my end.
All right, how's that? Can everyone hear me again?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Weird echo. Yeah, Six is awesome. My best friend's oldest has been going through a musical phase, so she got me onto that.
Very cool. Very cool. So did you work on a novel? Like, what did you work on during our sprint?
I am redoing my outline for book 3 because I hated everything I read the other night.
I feel that.
I put this together in a rush sometime last year. Clearly wasn't in the right space for it mentally. So I just cobbled something together. So I'm taking a bit of your approach with index cards.
The pile has grown and it's a little scary now. Oh. So this is a little nightmarish, but yeah.
What's also hard about this one is I'm doing it from a different character's point of view. So that's why I did purple, because her favorite color is purple.
Oh, I love it. I love color coding. I'm a little bit of a color.
I have to get into the head of this person who is much more extroverted than I am. And
do you remember these?
Joe Pence!
For when I really need to color code, I've got my classic jelly rolls. So yes, little flashback there.
Yeah, flashback to talk about flashback to junior high. Being a junior high kid in the 90s, your life was jelly rolls.
Yeah. They were like precious. They were precious to me. So my sister sent me some for Christmas, which is why I have them here. So yeah. So yeah. It looks like I'm getting here in the comments. A couple other people got some good stuff done in the 20 minutes. And so, oh yeah, and Lisa Frank, yes. But yeah, it looks like we're going to be doing a little bit more chatting, and then we're going to be doing another Pomodoro sprint, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I'm very excited to continue.
Okay. Really, the 2 big topics I had planned was each of your posts, and then just general chat. So Girl in Space. Tell everybody on my end a little bit about.
Yeah, so I like talking about Girl in Space because I made a really smart decision when I named it. Because I say I have a show called Girl in Space, and it's about a girl in space. And then that's kind of all I have to say. So it's a fictional podcast. Oh, that's right. An elevator pitch. So basically, there is a girl in space. She has been abandoned on a research station, and she's all alone. And you don't know what happened to anyone who had been with her, if there was a crew, if there was some kind of family, if there was anybody there. All you know is that she is in space alone, and there is a light moving steadily toward her. And then at this point in the elevator pitch, I just do jazz hands. And then I back away.
And chaos ensues.
Yes, there's lots of chaos. So Oh, so over on my side in the chats, Damien says, it's cheating though, because it's about way more than a girl in space. It's a trap. Which is accurate. It's about a lot more than a girl in space. But like everything that we create is about so much more than we intend it to be, right? Like a fantasy novel is not just a fantasy novel. It says so much more and it evokes so much more emotion. That's what's really fun about storytelling.
So season 1 is completely up. It's been for a while. And how far are you on working on season 2?
So I actually have season 2 with me. I thought I would like have it here nearby for our conversation. So this is part of season 2. It's just this big, well, okay, so it's this, and then it's also, this is the majority of season 2, this stack of cards that I showed you earlier that I'm trying not to like let you read what's on the front one. So yeah, so this is season 2 of Girl in Space. I'm currently at about, I just hit 22,000 words. And so I'm officially a third of the way done, because it's going to be, I think it's going to be about 66,000 words total, over 12 episodes. And, yeah, I finished episode 4. I'm starting episode 5, and, it's going to be different. And it's been hard because, I was very fortunate to get a little bit of success with season 1. And I now have all of these horrible doubts and feelings and fears that season 2 is going to not be good enough. It's not going to be as good as season 1. It's going to let people down. It's not going to fulfill people's expectations. And so there's just all of this stuff. And then I also have some other media stuff going on. Some of you may have heard about the TV show, which is still in development. And so then I'm like, I wrote season 1 not thinking anyone would ever listen to it or read it or whatever. I'm writing season 2 knowing that I have X number of shoes. Sorry, people are talking about jelly shoes in the comments. But I have X number of listeners and subscribers, and I also have these like TV executives that are going to be like reading season 2 and like judging it, and like that is a lot of pressure. And so I've had to come back time and time again to remembering why I'm doing this. And so this is why I give the advice, like, have a mission statement, know why you are creating this, so that when the pressure gets to you, you have something to fall back on. You have a reason that you're, that you're doing this. Mm-hmm. Jimmy is asking X number, X, yeah. Sorry, the main character in Girl in Space is named X. Or at least we think she is. So, but yeah, it's so hard. And so I had to think, like, when I started this, why did I start Girl in Space? I started it because I wanted a fun escape. I wanted something that I could fall in love with. I wanted a world that I could disappear into and still feel warm and safe and nurtured. Girl in Space, I very purposefully made it different than a lot of existing sci-fi. In that it's not like grimdark. It's not, I don't know. It's not dark and gritty. It's not mean. It's, at the core, like, bad things still happen. Like, there's still like explosions and a plot going on and people still get hurt. But really at the core, I wanted it to be affirming and warm and a reminder of why people are good. So
yeah, and as long as I've known you, you don't have a grimdark bone in your body, girl. So
well, see, you say that, and then like my next project, I'm like, I want to write horror, and so I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. It might just be like, yay, there's blood everywhere, but it's not blood, but it's blood, and so it might just be like a lot of that, but. Yeah, no, thank you for listening. Thank you for your kind words about the show. It's been, I have somebody saying, please tell us about the horror. So I have a tentative title for it, and I have a Twitter account made for it, and I haven't told anyone about it yet. But it's going to be called Nightmare Land, and that's all I know about it so far. And if you go, there's a Twitter account called Nightmare Landia, but don't go there because there's nothing there yet. I should not have said anything because now people are going to be like, oh. But yeah, I love horror. Actually, I probably read more horror than I read science fiction, and I read a lot of science fiction. But right now I am reading The Ghost Tree. I just finished up The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones, or Stephen Graham? That's not his name. I apologize for messing up his name. I just finished up Beneath the Rising by Premi Mohammed. There's so much good horror right now, so I'm like really excited to like jump in and I don't know, give it a try and actually be horrifying. I just hope that I'm people who, yeah.
It's not horror, it's dark fantasy. It's a series called, well, the first book is called The Savior's Champion, and then the companion novel is The Savior's Sister. It's by another writer who's on YouTube named Jenna Moresi.
Ooh.
She's fantastic. I've been following her for years.
I always want new book recommendations. And so, this is my jam.
It's like, well, this would be a very, very simplified, very simplification of the plot. But it's like The Bachelor meets The Hunger Games on steroids. It's the super simplified version of.
That's amazing.
There's this tournament that 20 men enter, and at the end the winner gets to marry the realm's magical holy queen, known as the Savior. And Augie knows about Jenna.
I feel like Augie secretly knows everything, I think.
But yeah, so they go through this tournament, and it is bloody. There's intrigue, there's forbidden romance, and so the first one is from the point of view of Tobias. He's one of the people, the guys who enter, and then the companion novel is told from another character's perspective, and it is so good.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. We have a question here. I think for both of us here in the comments, Mary is asking, who are your favorite sci-fi and horror authors? So Carrie, what do you read mostly? Do you read a lot of mostly fantasy or kind of like the more dark fantasy?
Mostly fantasy.
Who's your favorite author right now in fantasy?
Ooh, I haven't been reading as much as I'd like.
None of us have.
It's the thing. Well, Jenna's definitely up there. Nora Roberts has a few fantasy stories out there that I love. She has this one trilogy called the Circle Trilogy that I've actually had to repurchase because I've reread it so many times and the book fell apart.
See, that's the best though. I have some of those books, and those are like my favorites on my shelf. The ones where like the cover is like retaped on and like it's like split down the middle.
Mm-hmm. I also like reading historical fiction. I tried getting into Philippa Gregory's books, but that's like, I don't know, my history nerd brain couldn't get past the inaccuracies and overload of sex and boobs.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, totally.
I remember one time when my grandmother liked to read those Harlequin romance books.
Oh, grandmas.
And And she saw me reading Nora Roberts once, and she loaned me one of her Harlequin books, and I couldn't get through it. I got like 2 chapters in, and I'm like, here you go. I'm done.
Grandma.
What did you like about it? I go, it was just guy meets girl, they're on the floor. And then something happens, and they're doing it in somewhere else. And it was just.
Well, I mean, and that's interesting too, is like each of these genre things. So we're talking about sci-fi, horror, fantasy, romance, like they each have these like really almost very rigid formulas. And so it is guy meets girl, and then they're like, that's just like how it is for the genre too.
So if it's done really well, the intimate parts and the sex play a part in the story. It's not just gratuitous.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, so this was not just this was like a bad Harlequin romance, like not a great one. Yeah. Gosh, I think as far as sci-fi and horror goes, like I said, I read my very first Stephen Graham Jones novel right before Christmas, and it was so good. I'm trying to read mostly writers of color, and so I also picked up Beneath the Rising by Premi Mohammed, who I actually learned about her by following her on Twitter. She's an entomologist, which means she studies like insects. And I was like, I want to read what she writes, like horror wise. I also really enjoyed T. Kingfisher, who is Ursula somebody else. It's a pen name. But I just read 2 books of theirs. The latest of which was called The Hollow Places, and it was based on a short story or like a novella by someone who I'd never heard of before, named Algernon Blackwood. I think it's Algernon Blackwood, which just sounds like a totally made up name. But apparently Algernon Blackwood was a huge inspiration to H.P. Lovecraft. And so like I went down this huge rabbit hole and ordered like 900 horror books from the library now that I know about all of these people. Oh yeah, The Terror. Ursula Vernon's pen name, thank you, is T. Kingfisher from the beautiful K.B. Wagers. Oh yeah, hey, also K.B. Wagers has written several amazing, if you want to talk sci-fi, check out K.B. Wagers. Let's see. I've also got a question. Oh yeah. Yes, Victor LaValle. Sorry, I'm in the comments here. People are like now talking about horror books, and I'm totally going to derail this conversation. I appreciate it, and I apologize. A great horror novella is The Ballad of Black Tom by Victor LaValle. Yes, it was so good. And I read The Ballad of Red Hook first, and it was horribly racist. And then read the retelling of it, and it was just beautifully, beautifully done. So, okay, rant about books over. Because otherwise we will never get to our next sprint if I keep talking about books. Because I love them.
I've just been trying to keep my eye out for more indie authors too.
Yes. I love reading indie authors.
Amazon book list that is 10 miles long, but I can't. I want to get more books, but can't right now.
Yeah, it's hard. Well, and I get new books, and then they go on the various shelves around my house, and then instead of reading these books, I buy more books. That's how it works, and I don't read those.
And she's 21 months old. Aww. But we signed her up for the Imagination Library that Dolly Parton does, where you get a book a month until they're 5.
Oh my gosh, Dolly Parton is a saint. I love it. I love
her so much.
She's power.
But yeah,
power
we have her signed up for that, and I think I signed her up when she was like 2 days old.
Oh yeah, yes.
And then my parents signed up my sister's kids, so
that's so sweet, and I love it. I love it. So yeah, is there anything else I can tell you that's helpful or interesting about Girl in Space?
Why did you decide to do an audio drama instead of a book series?
Ooh. can I be 100% completely honest? Because I had podcasting equipment already, and because looking at the audience that I was able to build on my blog versus my podcast for right now, I was like, what if that is a similar ratio for a fictional podcast and a fictional book? So I tried the podcast and it really took off. I think that if I would have published or tried to publish Girl in Space as a book, it would not have made the splash that it did, and my career would not be where it is right now. And the other thing, and this is where I need to be honest, I was really, really, really scared because I knew podcasting. I knew it so well. I know how to start a podcast. I know how to market a podcast. I know where to find an audience for a podcast. I've written books before, and they're all sitting here in this drawer. I have never queried an agent. I have never sent a piece of written work to a publisher. And it was terrifying. It terrified me. And so I was like, I'll just go the way that I know, and that's making a podcast. And so that's what I did. And of course now, like on the other side of things, I've learned a lot, and I know now how to query an agent, and I know how all that stuff works. But I've learned all of that because of my podcast, and not because I was brave and intrepid and put my work out there in book form. So.
That's cool. I'm kind of thinking, like, I don't know how long my book series is going to be. Like, I'm looking at my Scrivener file, and I have folders for like 20 books.
Good, write 20 books.
I'm a chronic underwriter, so they're going to be probably like more novella length.
Yeah.
But I was looking through, and then between looking through what I've written so far and listening to Girl in Space, I'm like, if I did an audiobook, I would probably want to do it like audio drama style.
Yeah.
Because who else did that I really enjoyed? Also with sci-fi. The Illuminae Chronicles, the Illuminae Files.
Oh, I have that. And, I have that behind me. Yeah.
Those books, aside from being incredibly cool in their layout, because if anybody hasn't heard of the Illuminae Files, it's not laid out like a regular book. It's like email transcripts and chats and really cool image. Okay, Sarah's gonna pull it up. So then the audiobook, I've listened to all three. Yeah.
Oh, well, that looks like a normal page. There we go. There's like...
Yeah. So the audiobook is a full cast radio show, audio drama. Full cast, sound effects, music, everything.
I love that. I have not heard the audiobook for it, and now that you say it's in an audio drama format, I am going to be that's...
I think that's the only way you could do that layout, kind of layout book, though.
Yeah. Well, if you do want to go, so like Girl in Space seasons, I saw a question here from Mary. And then we have another question about what book. So this is the Illuminae Files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. And they have 2 of these out, or is there a third one now?
There's 3.
Huh, I don't have the third one. Okay. But Girl in Space season 1, I think, was 75,000 words, which is the length of a novella. And season 2, I'm aiming for 66,000. Knowing me, it'll probably be more, but I'm aiming for 66,000, which again, also the length of a novella. So yeah, so I think that if you're writing novella length fiction, that's a really good fit for adaptation to audio. So for what that's worth.
My iTunes is being slow, but it's Illuminae, Gemina, and the third one starts with an O.
Okay.
Obsidio.
Oh, I also just really like the titles of their books. They're just real good. Oh yeah, people. Yep.
I got them all from the library, and
Library is a magical place.
I need to make more use of the Libby app, which lets you do audiobooks instead of driving around with a thing of CDs.
Do you remember the big audiobooks on tape and you'd have this like multiple layered? Yeah, I used to get those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my car still has a CD player, so
That's amazing. Yeah, I guess mine does too. Not a tape deck though.
no.
It's okay.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that a 2019 car still had a CD player, but
We still have a lot of CDs. Like they didn't just go away, you know?
yeah. Okay, shall we do another sprint?
I think that sounds perfect and wonderful. So, okay, we're going to do another Pomodoro 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. On my end here, I'm going to put up our banner. Those of you who would like to ride along with us, go ahead and do so. I'm just going to continue handwriting. So I'm excited and ready.
Yeah, I forgot to put up my banner on my end, but I will this time. So some people don't come in and go, "Why is it quiet?"
Jimmy says it's pomegranate time. I love it.
Yeah, I was clicking in when you were doing your intro, even though I couldn't hear you, and somebody said Pomodori after
Because
the
of
cat.
my kitty. She is just fast asleep today, which I'm actually kind of grateful for. I don't think I could handle like trying to coordinate our interview and also having a very needy cat here. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. Are we ready?
Yeah. All right.
I don't know what I'm doing with my fist, but apparently this is how I prepare to write.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. All right.
All right. We're here to gently summon everyone back from your writing endeavors or your video game endeavors or your cleaning endeavors, whatever it is you spent the time doing. Come on back.
I'll take my banner down. So I expanded a little bit in my notebook.
Nice.
And still trying to fill in gaps. How did everybody do?
Ooh, let's see. Rebecca says, got some words done. Brainstorming, worked out a huge plot hole. That's a win. KB says, one opening fight scene, at least partially sketched out. Also a win. I love it. Forsaken Fallen says, chopped off 150 words from a draft. And I'm scared when I'm done editing, it's going to be too short. Ooh, what does too short mean? Something good to think about. Damien hit level 58 in World of Warcraft. Love it. Allie says made progress outlining. Numberless Dreams says push forward. I'll eventually get this blog post done. I feel that. Oh, Forsaken Fallen says the submission has a word count window and I'm nearly under it. Yes. Have to figure out what to add, where to take away. Yeah. Oh, Tania's here. Hey, Tania. Welcome. Any of you who are coming in late, you may notice that there's two of us here this evening. Carrie is hosting a sort of interview slash like writing club. I don't know what to call this, like a writing salon. I don't know, writing group. But yeah, we're crossing our streams just for this evening as sort of just a fun event. Ooh, another book lover says I got 300 words. Yes.
Unlike the Ghostbusters, crossing our streams won't blow up the world.
Well, at least not that we're aware. So like, at least the consequences are far out enough that we're not being immediately affected. See, I'm an optimist.
I don't know if anybody can hear the screeches of the tiny human down the hall.
So yeah. Yeah, I think one day you should just do a whole panel about being a mom and writing and like what that whole life is like. Is that kind of what you do too on your blog?
Yeah, kind of. Well, I just restarted my blog. I was trying to do it weekly, and that was just too much. So I'm doing it monthly, and I'll show my progress. I have a few clips of my daughter running around and being adorable. I caught her taking steps at one point during the January one, which she's still working on walking. So that was exciting, and I was like, I don't know if I want to share that now, but Augie can hear her screaming. Tiny human screech. Yeah. But yeah, because she was a preemie, she's behind in some of her motor skills. So we've been going to physical therapy since last summer.
Gotcha.
And she had a speech therapy evaluation, but they said she doesn't need it right now. So that's good.
Good, good, good. We'll keep an eye on her, and yeah.
Yeah, she could do it. She can walk. Her balance is there. She just doesn't want to.
Let's see. We have a question.
It's fine.
Oh. How old is she? We have a question. How old is the little one?
She is just over 21 months.
Okay.
She'll be 2 in May.
Oh, there. Yep. Is that a cue to start wrapping up? Just
No, my husband's taking care of bedtime.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Oh.
But she's showing signs that she's getting tired.
Tania says, preemie mom here too. Glad to hear she's doing well. Oh yeah, the Alpenhorn of tiny human. Oh.
Not as soothing as the actual Alpenhorn, no.
Oh. So yeah, so what do we have in store? I guess for now, because usually I wrap up around the 2-hour mark, and we're like very slowly creeping toward that. But yeah,
Well, I don't think we'll have time to do another sprint, but we can do just like general chat with everybody.
Oh, cool.
I know you're
Perfect.
monitoring it on your end more.
Perfect. Well, I also have your YouTube channel up here, so I can see the chat there as well, which is good. So yeah, let's see. I got some good journaling done today. I'm looking at the topic of patience, which is probably something you know more about than I do. Having kiddos, but
still working on it though.
Yeah. It's so hard though. I was talking with a writer friend earlier today, and we were sort of commiserating just sort of how hard it is not to see the progress that we want to see, and to come to writing events like this and say like, oh, I only got quote unquote I only got this many words written, and just one thing that we're never really taught is like how to be patient with ourselves as creators. So yes. Oh, and Drayton says, I love the latest Right Now podcast, Sarah. It always fires my brain. Thank you, Drayton. Yeah, and yeah, the latest episode is about being productive enough, which you and I talked about a little bit earlier, Carrie. It's hard. It's hard being productive enough, and it's also hard to be patient enough with yourself. So
yeah. Another book lover says on my thing, I'm listening to Doom Radio. The tiny screeches fit right in.
Tiny screeches of tiny humans.
There's a live stream that I had up a few months ago. And it's called "How Long Can I Work with the Kid with the little one in the room with me?" I had this little like play thing that she would sit in. She didn't like to sit in it for very long. But I put her in there, and every time I turned my back, she want my attention. I'm like, well, this isn't gonna work. Then I tried writing with her in my lap. Didn't work.
Oh, how'd that go?
Didn't work.
No.
I don't even think I made an hour during that stream.
That's actually pretty good though. I don't know if I would write 2 minutes with a child in my lap. So good for you. Oh yeah, here in the comments, Takara. Oh, sorry.
A cat roll over your desk.
Yeah, it's bad. Let's see. I have Takara here in the comments who says the superhero story is going to be the death of me. It is really hard. Takara, is it? So those of you who are kind of keeping up with everyone's weekly progress. Takara just started a superhero book after finishing up her murder mystery story. So yeah, that's a huge genre change. What about it is difficult this time? I would love to know. And I know it takes a while for comments to come through. So Carrie, what about you writing tonight? Oh, and we have somebody saying, do you have a laptop? Can you take it with you and lock yourself in the bathroom to write? Is that something you've ever done?
No. And we have a sliding door that doesn't lock. So eventually she'll figure out how to open it.
Oh. Mm-hmm. And then you'll have company all the time. Yeah. So
I'll hear her thundering down the hall. Like I'll slip out if I do have to use the restroom or something, and I'll hear as she's calling at top speed. And I hear,
oh
Ma,
my gosh.
Ma.
Yeah, I would not be able to handle that. I can't. Oh man, yeah. So. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, Rebecca in Australia. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. I think there's a little bit of lag.
It's a lot different than the cat crawling all over your desk.
Yeah, with her, like, I don't feel bad about just having her over there, like, napping. Like, you know, she's like 19. She's fine. Oh, Takaris is coming up with ideas for it is what's challenging. Yeah. How much brainstorming do you do, Takara? When you're brainstorming, do you have do you know who your characters are? Do you know sort of a rough idea of what you want to have happen throughout the plot? So yeah, coming up with ideas. One of my favorite exercises for coming up with new ideas is saying what if, and keeping a list and saying like what if. So like for Girl in Space, I would say what if X wasn't human, or what if there were two ships coming toward her on the Kavatica, or what if there was a whole fleet coming toward her, or what if, I'm trying not to get too spoilery, but what if this is not who you think they are, and what if they had a superpower and it was taken away from them, or what if. So asking what if is also a great way to come up with ideas. And you don't have to use them all, but just it's a great way to say like, oh, you know, I have 10 ideas now and I really like this one, so I'm going to go with that. So Takara, I hope that helps.
Prompt book also.
Ooh, a prompt book. That's great. Can you, yes. Prompts
it's very little. But
oh, it is. It's a little thin. It's a thin boy.
Yeah. I also look them up on Pinterest.
Oh, yeah.
I've looked up writing prompts so much on Pinterest, they just automatically pop up in my thing now.
Yeah.
So I just have a whole board of just prompts, and then I'll delete them when I find one I like and I write it down.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's a great idea too. I love that. And Cass also says, I've had a lot of success with the Story Engine deck. So that I've heard of, and I haven't tried it. So if you know more about that, let us know in the comments. Yeah. Yeah, we've got people remarking on the idea of story prompts on Pinterest. Yeah. I also know people keep inspiration boards on Pinterest too, of just images that inspire them. We've got people checking out Pinterest right now. Yes, and Jimmy says there's a writing prompt every Friday at the Facebook group and here in our Discord community. So if you're part of those, Jimmy has been providing us with a weekly writing prompt as well. So I invite you to do those. If I can, I have one question here from Damien, who says, I'm struggling with something I know is a fear of yours. While I've been in pre-production of Cybernautica, I've been creating Hanapocalypse, as many know. I consider it possibly even better work than my original so far. but so far I'm struggling to get ears on it. So he continues, how do you deal with having something wildly successful and then following it up with something that so far isn't, despite it being quality work? And then finally, on one hand, I'm not too bothered by it because I love the story. On the other hand, it makes this creeping insecurity like in the back of my brain. That's completely valid, Damien. And that's exactly what I think is going to happen with season 2 of Girl in Space. And then, you know, with my next show that we were joking about earlier, like, you know, when I write and produce and create that, it's interesting because you think it's going to be maybe successful because you have a built-in audience, right? Like you have people who know about you already. And if you're doing sort of cross promos on your own show, you know, that it can feel like you're set up for success, but there's also, you know, maybe some people who've checked out Cybernautica still haven't finished all of that. And they're like waiting to finish Cybernautica before they start your new thing. It could just be so many different factors too. Aside from like the assumption, it's really easy to assume, oh, nobody wants this or nobody wants to listen to it. But there could be a lot of different things going on there. And it looks like Carrie, sorry, I will like talk all day. So it looks like Carrie wants to say too.
There could be some listeners like me who listen to 50 gajillion podcasts and they just haven't had a chance to catch up with it yet.
Yes. Yeah, you're
It's on their
also
feed, but
yeah.
And I keep adding more.
I do too. I do too. So that might be part of it. Yeah, and I feel like that's something that we can dig deeper into. I'd love to sort of chat about that too. So I feel like that wasn't super helpful, but please know that we understand, and it's yeah, it's real.
Let's see here. I'm trying to minimize. Hold on. Now I'm curious, how many podcasts am I subscribed to? Because
well, I was looking at some data the other day, and there are now 2.2 million podcasts on Spotify, and there are 1.8 million podcasts out on iTunes, which is weird and interesting. But, you know, Spotify does have a lot of proprietary shows that don't get released to Apple Podcasts, and so it makes maybe a little bit of sense. For those of you who hear the word million and get terrified, they're not all audio dramas. They are not all your audience. Like you will not be in competition with 2 million other shows. Like don't let that bother you. You know, just like you're going to read more than one book in your lifetime, you're going to listen to more than one podcast. Because Carrie, how many did you say you're subscribed to?
28.
28. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm.
There are history podcasts. There's writing ones. There's a couple audio dramas. Yeah, those are the main three. The three categories.
Yeah. And I'm subscribed to 70 or 80, and it's a lot. And I don't listen to podcasts every day. Like I just don't, not have time. So yeah. Let's see. Tim says, well, if it isn't our old nemesis, the 2-hour mark. So we are creeping up on 9 p.m. my time, 10 p.m. yours. But yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's about time to start closing out. Well, thank you, Sarah, for coming on.
Thank you. This has been lovely. It has been a delight. Like this is the first time we've kind of tried doing, or at least this is my first time trying to do like a collaboration with streams. And so thank you, Carrie, for the opportunity. And thank you for everyone in the chat, both in my chat and in Carrie's chat on YouTube. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being your honest selves. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for writing along with us. I love doing these sprints. And so again, Carrie, can you tell us real quick your YouTube channel and what this 20-minute writing technique is called?
Well, I guess it would be the Pomodoro technique. I just call them writing sprints.
Just writing sprints. Perfect.
Just go as fast as you can in a set period of time. Yeah, they're really popular all over YouTube. Ever since the pandemic started, people have been live streaming like crazy. A few people have been starting to make the transition over to Twitch, since that is the platform for live streaming. So
yeah,
and they're a lot easier to get monetized apparently than YouTube.
Good to know. Awesome.
As YouTube comes in and just my stream. Talking about So yeah, real quick, for those viewing on my end, I do have another one of these discussion collaboration videos coming later this month, the 27th, which is a Saturday. I'm talking with the writer and some of the cast members, I'm not sure who, of a Power Rangers fan drama.
That sounds amazing.
The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers from when we were kids, the super cheesy 90s show. They did an updated version in an audio drama. And that's another one that
love it. That's going to be a lot of fun.
It's so good. Like, if I didn't know any better, I think I was listening to the actual actors who did the Red and Green Rangers back in the day, because they hit their voices so perfectly. I felt like I was 9 years old again.
Aww.
So yeah, I've been in talks with them. It's going to be on a Saturday afternoon because the writer is in the UK and then the actors are scattered all over the place. So time is still kind of to be determined, but it's going to be the 27th, which is a Saturday.
Awesome.
Probably in the afternoon sometime.
And that's on the name of your YouTube channel is?
On my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/nerdwritergirl1984. I'm either Carrie Hardisky author or Carrie H author everywhere else. Haven't figured out how to change my YouTube link yet. So
awesome. Well, very cool. So that's Nerd Writer Girl 1984 on YouTube. And that is next Saturday, the 27th of February.
That's not next Saturday. It's 2 Saturdays.
2 Saturdays. Okay. I'm good at math. Yes. And Carrie, thank you again for this opportunity. And again, thank all of you, like that's some kind of command or something, but thanks to all of you who attended and wrote with us. There's some questions still going on in the chat about sprints, and there's a very renewed interest in this. Let's continue that conversation over on Discord, because it looks like Forsaken Fallen is even saying that there is even a Discord bot that will do sprints. And so that sounds really cool and exciting. And then as Carrie said, there are YouTube sprints, if you look for those as well. So yeah, Carrie, thank you again.
One person who does YouTube. He doesn't have any videos of himself, but he subscribes to all of the author tubers and then creates a playlist for the day.
Oh, cool.
So you know who's doing their live streaming sprints.
Oh, cool. Can you provide a link to us for that in the Discord, in the resources channel? That would be amazing. I would love that. And anybody else who has resources, let us know over in Discord. So Carrie, thank you again so much. This has been a delight. And those of you who are watching, thank you so much for being here. Again, thank you for being your beautiful selves. We're going to be resuming next Wednesday. So again, we do these create-alongs every Wednesday and Friday evening at 7 p.m. Central. So that is 8 p.m. Eastern, and it is also, oh boy, let's see if I can get this right, 5 p.m. Pacific and 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So do join us again. We have a great community over on Facebook at I Am a Writer, that group on Facebook, and then we have a beautiful community over on our Discord. So yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for being your beautiful selves, and we will see you again soon. Oh yes, and thank you, noon Aussie Eastern Time. All right, because we do have some beautiful Australians with us. All right. Soon. Oh, I want to end it really ominously like that. Soon. Bye, everyone.